What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Ty, and here I primarily talk about fragrances, but I also sprinkle in some fashion and lifestyle content as well. So really the primary purpose is to help you show up as your best self consistently, day in and day out, by looking good, smelling good, feeling good. You know the vibes, man. So do me a favor, if you're interested in those type of videos or that type of content, consider subscribing below, then make sure you hit the bell so you can stay notified anytime I post any new content. And today we have YSL's Myslf Parfum, the 2024 release. So, I'm very happy to have this one in my collection finally. Of course, this is the follow-up to the OG, or the original that released back in 2023, and that was the EDP. So, between the OG and the Lay Parfum here, y'all, this is, I'd say they've been two of the bigger releases, over the past few years, both in terms of popularity and sales as well, right? So both highly sought after, have done pretty well in terms of being successful releases. And because of that, this one specifically, a little bit hard to find on discounters for what I thought was a good price. So was very fortunate, to be able to pick this one up on Joma Shop actually over Valentine's Day weekend for less than $100. I was very, very happy with that. Thought it was a steal at that price point. So we have the 100 ml presentation here, as you'll see, and currently it retails for $180, which I'll be honest, that's on par with a lot of, the bigger designer houses and, their releases in this size over the past few years, but that's pretty expensive, right? At least to me, I think that's pretty expensive, especially when you consider that, there are different, niche houses and fragrances within those niche houses that you can find on discounters or some at retail, but especially, on discounters for, this price and even less, right? Some really, good niche products. So I digress, right? It is what it is, but nonetheless, like I said, still happy to have this one in my collection and happy that I picked it up for the price that I did. Okay, and before we jump into how this one smells, y'all, let's take a brief look at the presentation. And honestly, as you can see, presentation is pretty nice, from not only the box, but the bottle itself. It's really nice matte black finish to the bottle. Just a clean, real refined presentation. So do appreciate that. But as always, y'all know that only matters if the fragrance is also on point as well. So let's talk about how this one smells, and we'll start with the official notes. So, of course, not many are listed. We're in that era of less is more, right, with the fragrance notes. So up top with this one, we have black pepper. In the mid, we have that orange blossom. Then in the base, you have warm woods and bourbon vanilla. And all that together, what does it actually smell like, or what do you actually get? So I'd say an initial spray, or once you first get this one on skin, for me at least, definitely can kind of, I'd say, very quickly pick up that OG DNA. You can tell it's a flanker, right? There's that similarity for sure, but this one does things just a bit different, right? So like I said, upon opening, not nearly as much citrus as the original. Like I said, a lot of bergamot, a lot of citrus kind of up top with that one. Not the case here. Instead, like I said, you get, or at least me, I get that orange blossom right away. So kind of that white floral feel, slightly fresh. And then almost, I'd say maybe 5 minutes in, maybe around that 10-minute mark, you start to get some slight spice. And obviously coming from the black pepper. So very mild. I'd say the spice is not much at all, which isn't a bad thing, right? And then as you get further in the dry down, about 15-20 minutes in, I think that's when things really start to get interesting. You get that bourbon vanilla, and I think the bourbon vanilla mixed with that, orange blossom and a little spice, to me it smells really, really good, y'all. And then of course, the far dry down, you do get a bit of a woody component, but nothing, too out of the ordinary. So all in all, this is a relatively simplistic scent, but I've said this before, simple is not bad, or simple does not automatically mean bad, right? So I think for what it is, this is a really good fragrance. Okay, right? So all in all, what you get with this one, y'all, is a really nice floral, slightly spicy, warm vanilla fragrance. It's definitely unisex, but when comparing it to the OG, that's more of a masculine edge, right? It's deeper, it's darker, it's richer. It's a Lay Parfum. I think it's everything that it should be, and I think they did a really good job with this one. And, the best thing about this one to me is, even though it is a little deeper, a little more dense, it still manages to keep this level of cleanliness, especially in the opening and I'd say through the mid, but really throughout, right? So it's a fragrance that smells absolutely great. Like I said, it is simple, but simple is not a bad thing. So smells great. And as we get into performance, it also is one that checks the box there. Okay, so moving into performance and versatility, y'all, we'll start with performance. So this one performs pretty well. You get about 7 to 8 hours of longevity with pretty good projection for the first hour to hour and a half. Like many Parfum concentrations, this one isn't, you know, a beast mode or a screamer or one that really punches out, but I think the beauty is in the sillage with many fragrances like this, right? So it really kind of sits with you, lingers, and then travels well with you. So as you're moving out and about, especially for those first couple hours, it's one that people will catch whiffs of and you know, likely, you know, really enjoy. So all in all, it checks the box in terms of performance. And then moving into versatility, for me, I'd say this is easily a 3-season fragrance. So fall, winter, spring, anytime, any reason, any occasion, I think you're good to go with this one when you just want to smell good. Actually thinking about it, this would be a really good signature scent for the winter time or for cooler weather, right? Fall and winter. You know, when you don't want something that's citrus forward or has a bunch of fruits in it, but it's still fresh and kind of gives you a cleanliness to it. I think something like this would be great as a signature scent for cooler weather, but nonetheless, pretty much, like I said, year round with the exception of summertime. EDP works better in the summertime, but this could work for summer evenings. So moving into my final thoughts, y'all, I think this is a great fragrance. It was a solid release, and it's one that is simple, but still has more complexity and is deeper than the original, which is, you know, something that I appreciate. And, you know, all in all, if you're someone that's looking for a new warm floral fragrance or warm white floral specifically, I think this is a fragrance that you might want to check out and potentially add to your collection. Again, it's very wearable, it's very easy to wear, it's very likable. And because of that, I think it's one that, similar to the OG, is going to do very well in terms of, you know, bringing in that positive attention and ultimately leading to compliments. Okay, it's going to wrap up today's review, y'all. So first and foremost, want to take a moment to thank you all for tuning in and watching. You know, you could be doing so many other things right now, but you decided to check this video out, and I greatly appreciate that. As always, leave me a comment down below. Let me know if you have tried Myslf Les Parfums or the original, the EDP. You have a preference between the two. Me personally, I enjoy the Les Parfums a little bit more, but leave a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. And of course, until next time, peace and love.